Seeing at 6 o'clock, I'm going to call to order the Village Board of Trustees for the Village of Belleville for Monday, July 7th. Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
Roll call, please.
President Service.
Present.
Trustee Bannon.
Here.
Bongard. Here. Michael Prout. Here. Hasmar.
Here.
Ward. Here. Ziegler.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Was the meeting posted?
The meeting was posted as required by law.
And now I will open up for public participation. And you get about 3 minutes. If you could approach the podium and state your name and address. And then and we'll call your name.
Yep.
Let's
Connie, you're first tonight. Connie, you're for Belleville. I have some questions that I was asked to ask you. How much did the village pay for the lot the library stands on, the old library, the middle library? Former is what we like to. What do you call it? Former. The former library. How much did you pay for that lot?
We can follow up with you, I'm sure.
Okay. And how much did the businesses pay for their land out in the industrial park?
We can follow up.
And here I am. Trying to find a place for the Legion again. The Legion was at least told that they could lease the building for $900 a month. The Legion is a okay, my mind just nonprofit. Thank you very much. There's the word. They're a nonprofit, so $900 a month is a lot for them. But what I have a question about is if they would lease that building for $900 a month, plus they have to pay thousands to have the elevator checked. What happens when you decide you want to move in there? What happens if you decide you're going to put somebody else in there? Where do they go then? They don't know where to go. As I've said a zillion times, we need to help our veterans get a home, a safe home. That church is way too dangerous for all of us older people. And the veterans are getting older, the ones that run that Legion. And there's got to be somewhere in this town that we can put them, and somewhere in this town that you can give them a break and you can help them. I think that's part of our job. And I'm going to go off the subject now. I have just a suggestion. We go around the park at least 2 times a day. And we were down there this weekend, 2 times, 3 times. And there were people picnicking over on the point. And the only little table they had was that little covered table. Can we move a picnic table over there so people that are picnicking over there, that they have a table? And there were people picnicking at the little building that has no place to sit. There's one over there by the launch. It has a table, but there's no place to sit. But I think a picnic table over there would be nicer. We can actually move a couple over there, I would think. Okay, never mind. I'll talk to him. Thank you very much.
Katie.
Judy Bacha. I have a couple of questions, or actually I have one question because I'm trying to figure out how to justify this in my head. On the bills, there is a bill, Carolina, from MSA to the tune of $25,000 $334.33. That says it's park design. Park design for 2 gazebos, some sort of playground equipment, and a porta potty that's gonna be built, some sort of structure around it. For $25,000. That's outrageous. Don't everybody answer at once. Other things. Drew, can you remind the guys to remove the grass clippings and things from the sidewalks, especially those that are near storm sewer? Please, you did really well for a while. Now,
I'll get back on it, Judy.
okay, thanks. And while you're down there with the picnic table for the point for our people who like to picnic, there's carpeting that I believe got pulled out of that property, that little shelter that you guys built, and dumped it outside along the building. And it's been sitting there, and sitting there, and sitting there. Please. Baseball diamond down in Community Park.
Okay.
And the shelter or food stand or whatever it used to be. Out to the riverside, there is a bunch of carpet that got pulled out of that building for whatever reason, and they dumped it right there. Okay,
I'm guessing that's been there a while then, huh?
couple of months.
Yeah, we got carpet.
Yeah, like I said.
I don't
Somebody
know.
dumped the carpet.
Probably somebody dumped it.
And somebody just dumped their carpet.
Yes.
You gotta be kidding me.
No.
I've seen people over there.
They dump whatever they want over there.
Oh, it looks disgusting. Thank you.
Sorry, Willa. I'm gonna read my statement so I don't wander. My name is Willa
Okay.
Allstat, and I live in Hillcrest Estates in the town of Exeter, and I'm gonna speak on the Belleville EMS Fire District. I'm a very new resident, less than 2 months, retired CPA with a work history as a controller. I've been following the Belleville Fire EMS discussion and would like to share my insights as a new arrival and with a deep interest in keeping the current Belleville EMS district intact. I think it relevant that one of my grandfathers used to say that a partnership is a rough ship to sail on. We can expect that it's going to be hard at times. I understand the issue to be that Belleville would like the weight of its budget approval correlate more closely with its financial contribution. That sounds like a reasonable request, until I listen to the concerns of the other fire EMS users and partners. What I hear is a concern about Belleville using the increased weight for the budget to be a first step in a series of possible future steps to secure more control over the district. That concern indicates a fairly low trust environment. I understand that Belleville's plan is to enter mediation and to accept the possibility of breaking away from the current group. I think that step may be premature. I'd like to propose an interim approach, one that address, one, the trust issues, and then two, something that would compare fire EMS financial metrics against appropriate benchmarks. Addressing the trust issues is beyond my skill set, but financial benchmarks are within it. My naive possible approach is that I think that, well, I suspect that operational metrics are being done, like response time, et cetera. But financial metrics are different. They might look at cost per call, diversity of revenue streams, allocation of expenses, as compared to similarly situated districts. They may help the budget conversation get steered into a more neutral territory. Maybe this is already being done, But my thinking is that if the district is operating within reasonable and comparable benchmarks, then that information could go a long ways toward easing the budget conversation. In past workplaces, financial benchmarking, oh yikes. Financial benchmarking has helped organizations learn whether they were over or understaffed, under or overcapitalized, and whether their revenue streams were diverse enough. If all of this has been addressed, then maybe just focus on the trust issue. One more sentence. There are consultants to help with that, and I don't have insight into the best approach there. Thank you.
Kelly. Nice from Belleville. I also, like Willa, have a comment on the fire and EMS district contract. My main question is, statements put forth by the village board state that your key issues include voting shares that do not reflect financial contributions and unclear or delayed budget approval processes. However, statements also put forth by the village board state our concerns are about funding, governance, and fairness, not about the daily operations staff or leadership of the fire and EMS department. Statements made by trustees include the board would never deny our fire or EMS the unnecessary equipment or training they need, ever. This is not a budget issue. It seems that our goal here is a little unclear as to what our core issue is, because trustees are stating that it is not a budget issue, but our key points from your own statement state that it is a financial and budget issue. And that's all I have to say.
That's the last one I have down.
Okay, thank you. Next item is the consent agenda. Items of the consent to considered and enacted in one motion. Tonight, we have the village board meeting minutes from June 16th, 2025, the June 2025 check register, Q2 village board payroll, special event for the anniversary brat bash on 8/19 of 2025, and special events permit for UFO fall marketplace 10/25.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda.
Right? I would like to add something to that consent agenda. I did not get the information turned in the timesheet back, and I was on vacation out of town, and I would hope that it could still go in my timesheet for this quarter. And I believe Gabe gave everybody a copy of my timesheet.
Want to pull that item C off the consent agenda and then approve it separately?
Now would be the time, or yeah, now would be the time, and if we can.
Okay, so if you've got other questions on other items of the consent agenda, we should also pull those off the consent agenda and deal with them separately. Check registry, I got a couple.
I'm gonna pull off items B and C for discussion after consent agenda. Budget. Amend your motion.
So I'll make a motion to approve items A, B, and E on the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
All right. Motion by Tony, a second by Shelley. Is everyone okay with the amendment? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. All right, so now let's address each item. Check register. So Maxine can get her timesheet in.
Check register would be item B, not C, sorry.
It's me.
Okay, we got 3 things going on. We got it.
Right. So check register, you had some questions, Deb.
Okay, the Daytonwood painting for the mural, is that coming out of the fundraising funds? Did that come out of there?
No, I don't believe
So I'm sorry,
for the mural, the Daytonwood painting.
1,200 and seven,
I don't know what, for the priming on the walls, where did we pay the priming for the wall off of?
did it come out of the fundraising fund?
It did. I mean, that was a while ago. I know it did not come out of public works. Works. I'll tell you that for sure.
It was supposed to come out of the fundraising funds because
Yeah.
we did additional fundraising to raise that money.
Yeah.
Okay. Upgrades to the Village Hall and Public Works. What did we do at these two places for upgrades?
Sorry, I would need more information, more context for that.
Which items?
Who were the two?
I know, it just said upgrades, to Village Hall and Public Works.
Check in.
Check.
Yeah,
And I'll go back and find it there.
what's the check number on the sides?
It was 3901 for the amount. Have to find that.
Let's see. Village facility upgrades, we've got FGM Architects.
Okay, yeah, that's the architecture firm that's doing the space study for the village public works buildings.
Okay. Second one. No, those were the two. You would upgrades.
I'm over to approve the June 2025 check register.
Second.
Other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now,
Connie's.
So then item C would be your quarter two village board payroll with the addition of Maxine's.
so seeing her time sheet added.
Twice. For June. Oh, that's right. Never mind.
Is there any administrative problem with having this added?
No, it just, I only heard about it today, so it's already on the agenda.
I only heard about it today also. So. That is probably fine.
Thank you.
Yep.
I make a motion to approve the quarter two village board payroll.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And passes. All right. President's report. To necessarily report regarding happenings. Am making an effort to change the way meetings are run to some degree regarding comment. So we will have, like we just did, public comment in the beginning where you can share anything you'd like. And when we go into meeting items, the board will discuss. And I will open it up to public comment where you can have 3 minutes to talk about that item if you'd like. And that's why it's important to get your name in ahead of time that you may want to speak on an item. And after that, board will go into discussion. I'll ask each board member for if they have any additional input before we vote on the item. So just to share that with everybody to be aware. Find something new to keep order and move things along. So that's my report, I guess. Village staff reports.
I'm just, you read my memo, but specifically want to note that open book will be happening June 30th. It's via phone. So if you want to talk to the assessor about your assessments, I said June, I mean July. Look, I'm on vacation tomorrow. My brain's already there. July 30th, 3 to 5 with the assessor via phone. So you have to schedule a time and you can do that on their website or by calling their phone number. The board of review will be happening end of August. So that is still pending for this year, and I want you guys to be aware of that. Also, just wanted everyone to be aware that the clerk's office is closed next week. We're both in day-long trainings, Monday through Friday, so no applications will be processed by Tierney or I next week. We'll be focused just on our training, and then we'll be back the week after. The only exception to that is possible election paperwork that may come out or in during that week. I will be available.
Okay.
The whole week, next week, this village hall is closed.
No, the financial department will be available, and the administration, public works, clerk's office is closed.
Item number 9 on the agenda, presentation discussing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got reminded, there's been requests for street identification signs on Bell West, and just wanted people to know we got them in now. And by the end of the week, I should have a plan from our street superintendent to get them posted, so people will know where they're going in Bell West.
Okay, thank you. Discuss and consider a partnership with the University Alliance.
So Megan here is from University Alliance. So as part of our strategic plan, we have this in it to begin a partnership in 2026. I'll let Megan that, but so Megan, all you.
Yeah, is there a way to show the slideshow? If not, I'm good at just talking off the cuff.
You covered on,
She sent me an email.
oh,
I say I.
They all have a picture.
Okay, great. I can get started then if that's okay, and then I'll
Yeah.
catch up on the slides.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Thank you, appreciate that. So, yeah, my name is Megan McBride. I'm the managing director of University Alliance, very funny, which is a program at UW-Madison. Basically, we take community identified projects and then match them with like courses, faculty, and other resources at UW. A little bit about me. I'm pretty new to the managing director role. Before that, I worked in local government. So I used to be the planning director up in Ashland. And then most recently did federal grants administration down in Beloit. So that from as far north to as far south in the state as I could. And now I get to work with local governments in a very different way. So a little bit more about our program. Like I said, it's a program at UW-Madison, but we do work with all the other system schools as well. It was really kind of founded on like 4 key observations. The first is that local governments often, are operating on tight budgets with limited resources, but always have, a grand vision for projects they want to do. They want to make data-driven decisions that are in the best interest of their community. So the idea that how can we bring in additional support to increase that capacity and support communities? Again, obviously there's faculty on campus who are looking for community projects for their students. A lot of value for the students. They don't necessarily always know how to connect with communities, and so help kind of make that connection. Again, for students, huge impact in terms of being able to, improve their learning outcomes, but also expose them to real world challenges and issues. Help them, see potential new like career paths in local government that they may have never considered for themselves. And then also, make sure that they, by the time that they are graduating, that they have the skills and confidence and expertise that people are actually looking for in the job field. So those are some of the benefits for students. And then lastly, as I said, I came in from local government to UW, so I can attest to this one. UW can be kind of confusing and hard to navigate. So the idea is that this program kind of brings together all of these different interests to make those connections, but also provide that administrative support throughout the projects. Okay, awesome, thank you. This is a slide. Yes, exactly. To again, just kind of provide that support to alleviate any kind of like administrative burden for the faculty and especially for the community part. Thank you. So just brief overview, we're very lucky to have an advisory board of faculty and staff from pretty much any school or college or unit you could think of. I've learned of a whole bunch of new ones. And so anything from law to school of business to planning and landscape architecture to population health institute. We have folks from all across campus who are on our board, who are great about helping us connect with other, folks who are either on campus doing this kind of work have courses that are looking for these types of projects, but also subject matter experts who are in the field to help mentor and help students. So in a nutshell, the way that we do this is, like I said, we really start with the community. So what kind of projects or issues are they hoping to work on? We have what we call a scoping meeting. Feels slightly like an interrogation, but it's me hanging out with whoever the project lead is and asking a bunch of questions to make sure that I really understand it and that, kind of the deliverable, whatever the community wants to be holding in their hands at the end to feel like the project was a success, that we're all on the same page about that up front. Once we have that, we then kind of shop it around to, courses and instructors on campus to find a good match. Then we come back to the community partner and have, those meetings to make sure it's a good fit. And then obviously, once the semester starts, the students start working on the projects. They meet with the community partner typically bi-weekly just to make sure they're on the right track and they're getting feedback as they go. So again, make sure that whatever comes out of the project is going to be what the community wants and needs. And then so lastly, obviously, the kind of final report or whatever the deliverable is given to the community. And then we also package it and kind of put it on our website. So in terms of using deliverable, it's a generic term we have because it means a lot of different things. And so you can probably think of like a report. So that is definitely a big one. We get best practice reports, case studies, etc. But we've also had students design surveys or implement community engagement processes or develop staff trainings or onboarding for new elected officials, communications materials, so brochures, social media posts, things like that. And so really the deliverable is driven, again, sound like a broken record, by the community, whatever they're looking for, and once by the end, we tailor the whole project around that, and then that's what we get upon the conclusion of the project. Last one about the program in general, just in terms of numbers, we are up to 43 total partners, 38 cities, towns, villages, and counties. We've also worked with a school district, a couple of statewide organizations. So typically local governments are our partners, but we're flexible. Again, it's really just about how can we make sure that Wisconsin communities can thrive and meet the goals that they're trying to achieve. Just last academic year, we had 37 projects that were accomplished through 15 courses and across 7 different colleges and schools at UW-Madison. Okay, great. So now into the fun part. These are project examples. So something that I think is kind of most unique or impactful about our program is the way that it can approach really complex issues from a lot of different angles. And so as an example, City of Wapaka had a dam that is right along their waterfront or the riverfront that is currently privately owned, but in the next 10 to 20 years might be handed over to the city as they would need to think about either removing it or kind of what they do. So they had engineering students who design alternatives for the city to consider for that kind of dam removal piece, as well as how they could use that as an opportunity to integrate into their downtown. So they designed a pedestrian bridge that connects to the downtown and kind of help them think through that. And they had a landscape architecture student who, as their capstone, designed what a waterfront trail could look like or a riverfront path. Had a conservation plan, because obviously if you're adding new green space or parkland, there's more maintenance. And so how do you do that in a way that's cost effective and low maintenance for the city, but also meant they had sustainability goals. So had conservation planning students create that kind of management plan for them. And then lastly, again, not sure if this will even end up moving forward, but they wanted to have some kind of communication tool. How do they share this with the public about the current use and what they're moving towards? So they had some GIS students create a story map that basically tells that story of the existing land use, what types of changes could be made, and what that would do to things like tourism, but also the trout fishing in the area and things like that. And so again, really giving that holistic overview, pulling all those projects together, giving the city a tool that they can use in the future.
The suspense waiting on that.
Yeah.
Just really.
Thanks. I'll go super quick. Again, just some brief examples, certainly not an exhaustive list, but some of the types of projects we've done for economic development, things like a guidebook for economic development for a county. From Below County specifically wants to expand outdoor recreation, so helping them interview businesses and think strategies for that. And then DeForest is going to have a new neighborhood put in, so designing a road and thinking through what are the best options for things like
bike lanes and street trees and things like that to both, blend into the existing infrastructure and then again, support that future development.
You'll have to tweet slides, this thing is slow.
Great, thank you. Another category to highlight is parks and recreation. So connecting City of Marionette through trail and path. So again, for landscape architecture, I believe they wanted to apply for a grant. So they were specifically looking for like visuals to help them apply for that. And so that was the project they requested. Master planning. So Mount Pleasant has a site that they know they're going to want to do a park. It's been in the plans for years, but they don't necessarily have a design. So again, landscape architecture and urban planning students work to create a master plan for that. And then lastly, Trempealeau County wants to put some new trails in. And not all of that is going to be on county-owned property. So creating a mapping tool to help them plan for that, understand who those property owners are, would they need to acquire new property? If it's on county land, what are the challenges? Do they need to put a bridge in to put a path there? Things like that. So again, creating a mapping tool to help them strategically plan for those things and to figure out what those implementation steps would look like, depending where they want to put the trail. Downtown revitalization and public art. So these are kind of broken down overall downtown revitalization plans, and then also again, kind of the more design aspect, as well as for public art, kind of an overall strategy for the community, but also as specific as having a specific, village event that they wanted to be able to expand over the next several years. So having students think of how they can scale that over the years to be what they eventually want it to be, but in a way that's sustainable and driven by the current folks who are coming to the event. Sustainability planning. So again, kind of general creating a sustainability plan for community overall. Also as specific as thinking about the stormwater ponds and how do you do plantings and things to make those more sustainable. Or documenting land use and environmental change in the Koshkonong Creek watershed. So GIS to again kind of understand how land use has changed over time, how it's impacted by the environment, as well as development by the community and kind of what they want to see as the long-term vision for that area. And then last but not least, oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I have one more after this. I got ahead of myself. Communications and marketing plans for numerous communities, usually starting the School of Journalism, designing websites for Columbia County economic development, and then thinking about ways to engage residents in boards and commissions and committees. So kind of strategic outreach plans related to that. When I promise really is. So last but not least, government operations. So thinking about things like sustainable management assessment. And so looking at budget, staffing levels, projected future population, helping the communities plan for that. Promoting language accessibility of city services to make sure all residents have equal access to services through the city. And then developing an equipment replacement fund. So helping the city to really project into the future about what their equipment needs are going to be and identify opportunities for cost sharing or, different strategies to save costs. Just a couple more slides, I promise. Services. So I just wanted to highlight, as I mentioned, we provide some kind of quality control and really try to alleviate that administrative burden as much as possible. What that looks like, I already talked about the project scoping and matching process. I also do transportation, scheduling, etc. for site visits. Obviously, it's great to get students off campus, and so we help facilitate that as much as possible. Also, project background folders, so working with the community to pull all the data that's needed ahead of time, as well as any past examples or reports, so make sure students can kind of hit the ground running. Faculty and staff oversight, and again, just kind of checking in with all parties to make sure everything's going smoothly. Connecting with additional subject matter experts. Sometimes those are on campus. We also work a lot with the League of Wisconsin Municipalities or obviously UW Extension or other kind of statewide partners. And then also private consultants have offered their time as mentors to just meet with students a couple of times throughout the semester. We do that as needed to make sure the project, again, is kind of what the community needs. And then lastly, we have a lovely website that I don't administer that we post all the deliverables on. So if you're curious about anything, they're all online.
Finally, for communications, we have a great communications outreach specialist. We do an annual report every year. I have a bunch of extra copies if anyone wants one. But just to highlight, the work that happened that last academic year. They also do stories of impact. So she actually used to work for the Cap Times in Madison, great at writing articles, both for our campus audiences, but also getting them published in like the League magazine or things like that. Again, we have our website, and then finally conferences and award proposals we've done. So Wanakee, we submitted it for a Salute to Local Government Award for a project they did with us and they were awarded. So as opportunities arise, we love to be able to do that as well. That is all I have. I think the next one is just our social media thing. So if you're curious and want to see our newsletter or any cool projects we have coming up, please follow us on social media. Otherwise, I really appreciate your time and would love to take any questions now or.
You're funded.
Yes. So we are like fee for service. And so the local government partner does pay to participate in the program. Also subsidized mostly through philanthropy. So we have a lot of donors who are really passionate about just kind of the general idea. And so those are our two main funding sources. In terms of the like costs to partners for what it kind of breaks down to, it's usually around like $3,000 per project. We build it so that it's nice and flexible so that if a project concludes and a community says, I really like that thing that was recommended in it, I'd love to have a branch off report just on that, that we can do that and we don't charge anything extra to like dig in a little bit deeper.
Some of the projects so I have done this in two organizations now. I inherited and started one in Wanakee, and then I brought it to Cottage Grove when I was there. So in our strategic plan, a lot of these projects are good for staff who may be overwhelmed with the things that they are working on, but these are things that we have to get done. But the students can take the lead and our staff doesn't have to. So a few of the items is for the Arts and Culture Committee, development of public art procedure / guide. How do we decide public art? When is it up? All that kind of stuff. Development of social media marketing plan. How to develop, implement native grasses, wildlife around stormwater retention ponds. Develop a Belleville 101 program, which is a thing that teaches residents what the village does. We need to redo our downtown design standards. We want to create a GIS development map, employee evaluation systems, creating environmental sustainability plans, and then, as we're doing now, develop a Parks and Rec department. They could do all of those things. And all of those are in our strategic plan that you guys have said that you want done. But staff doesn't have the capacity to do, but they do. And so the department heads came up with that list. Quickly. And so, we would apply, how we've done in the past. I don't know if it's changed, but we come up with, these are the projects that we're wanting to do. They make sure that it's good matches. We usually do like 1 or 2 projects a semester. So it takes a couple of years to go through it. And then you pay over time. So it's not just one lump sum.
Sounds like it's something that could really benefit us. So
what I would recommend, if that's something that you guys were interested to do, is just direct staff to begin that partnership process, creating the application, all that kind of stuff. If that's what you're interested in. That's not.
public comment.
That's, what's your maximum payout to the?
Our maximum like contract amount that we've done in the past. That has varied widely. So we've gone as small as like 5,000 for just 1 or 2 projects. Marathon County, I think, was closer to 60 or 70,000, and they did close to 60 projects. Greene County also did about 50 projects with us, and I think that was about a $50,000 one. So again, it's divided over multiple years, and we are very flexible in terms of kind of what the payment schedule looks like. But I think 56 is the maximum number for the community on. So
That was a lot of projects.
that's a lot of projects. It's a lot of fun, but yeah, love.
Greene County. So who did you work with in Greene County?
Yeah, we worked with mostly the health department, public health department. But we also did some we worked with Greene County Economic Development Corporation. They were the lead on a couple of projects. So yeah, they did a nice like variety of different ones, but a lot of them are related to public.
Okay, thanks.
A quick question. I'm curious as to what your target learner group is for providing this expertise. Is it bachelor's, master's, doctoral, faculty, and what's the breadth of expertise you draw upon?
Yeah, we work with all levels. I would say that kind of our sweet spot that we tend to work with a lot is like master's capstones, just because they're always looking for real world projects. So they're ones who kind of come to us consistently, but we do also have courses, both undergraduate and graduate level, that we consistently work with. We also like to do ones where we can have some kind of mentorship opportunity. So if we have graduate students who we can pair with an undergraduate to balance that out and round out their overall skill sets, that's something that we've done and are looking to do more of in the future.
That's great. Learning is awesome.
Jeff?
Did we earmark some money for this? We did that, Belleville. And then we put it in the. Platteville was free. Yeah, Platteville was free.
There was something in the budget last year, I remember that we had earmarked for an organization. It may have been yours. I swear I've seen this before, so. So, any other comments from?
Excuse me.
So you're just looking for guidance
Yeah,
to
do
proceed?
you want us to do it or do you not? Kind of what's your guys' thoughts? I would probably submit, I'll show you guys what the village department heads want to do once we've come up with it, but I guess the next step would be you guys directing us to start. Yes, and then Megan and I can get more involved.
All right, so do we have a specific project in mind, or we're just
We had like,
wide net?
we had a whole list. There was about 10 on that list that I mentioned earlier. And then as we kind of go through, maybe there's something I didn't think.
So there's nothing to make a motion and.
I would make a motion to, try to.
I'll make a motion. Page on the back of your packet, because I didn't think we were gonna motion during presentations. So if you want to use that for this. Sorry. Original over here.
Question. It doesn't cost anything to belong to this. It's only if we use your services. Am I correct?
Correct. Yep. So the cost is basically like a concierge fee. So it's basically just our staff time. We're just a team of two. We're a very lean operation, but to do the project matching and then to do that kind of like oversight throughout the process.
I'll make a motion to move forward with the University Alliance organization. Shelley beat you to it. He's quick on the draw over here.
I like it.
Any additional comments, Tony, Debbie, Kelly, myself, no, Deb, Maxine, Gary? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Yes.
Or discuss and consider resolution and appreciation for Jim Mimosa. Did I get your name right? Close enough. Close enough, I'm sorry. I'd like to appreciate all that you've done for us. You've really stepped up and helped the community. You needed it.
Want me to read or do you want?
Again.
A resolution of appreciation honoring Jim Moser on the occasion of his retirement. Whereas Jim began his employment with the Village of Belleville in July 2023 during a time of significant transition and operational challenges within the public. And whereas Jim brought with him a wealth of experience, dedication, and a steady hand that proved instrumental in stabilizing operations and supporting the department during a period of crisis. And whereas Jim has served the village with professionalism, reliability, integrity, earning the respect and appreciation of his colleagues, staff, and community members. And whereas his contributions have left a lasting impact on the Public Works Department and have helped set a strong foundation for its continued success. And whereas the village board wishes to recognize and express its sincere gratitude for Jim for his service and commitment to the village. Now therefore be resolved by the Village of Belleville, the Village Village Board of the Village of Belleville, Dane and Green County, Wisconsin, that we extend our heartfelt appreciation for Jim and wish him a well-deserved and fulfilling, joyful retirement. Speech?
Thank you. Yeah. First, not only I want to thank Dave and the past board, present board, for accepting me to be able to come in and take my 40+ years of experience and share it with the employees, and hopefully it's made a difference in helping village look and also the entire staff, everybody I've worked with. One person can't achieve their goals. It takes a team.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Make a motion to approve. Resolution.
Second.
By Tony, second by Debbie. Any other comments? Thanks, Jim. Yep, thank you, Jim. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, everybody in the community. engagement.
All right. Any other questions by the board before we vote? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you again.
Come visit us.
Thank you, really.
Every meeting.
Come on now.
Right. So now we have a public hearing regarding the 2025 sidewalk right-of-way replacement program. So I will open the public hearing at, what time is it? 6:47. Meeting posted.
Yeah, so the public hearing was published in the Post Messenger Recorder on 7/3. I'm waiting for the affidavit to be returned by mail, but it can be furnished upon request once received. It was also posted at Village Hall, the Belleville Public Library, and on the Village of Belleville website on Thursday, July 3rd. Okay,
Participation.
Connie's up first. Do you want to speak during the public hearing?
No, we're not fixing my.
Okay. Somebody will talk. Judy.
Just have two things. For one is Library Park does not need that extra sidewalk. And for anybody here sitting at board and Village Hall, the Nolan boys start on Green Street, plow the alley all the way through. That's the village parking area, plus the senior center parking lot. And they push it out and throw it up on top of Library Park, where you're going to be putting some sidewalk on with an end loader. They build that pile there, and they do the one on Frederick to Green Street, right between Norm Husted's house and the driveway for the village staff parking. So those two piles are there, and they do it with an end loader, or the end loader. And then the village comes with the dump truck and an end loader and takes the piles away. Which is things that caused the problem down here on North 9th Street, where the alley that goes all the way back to, well, let's see, where did it go? Probably to Randy Drager's 107, which is now the Hot Garden. Because the end loader has a tendency to pick up and destroy infrastructure. So I want you to keep that in mind when we spend $17,000. The other one is a question for Gary Ziegler and Deb Kesner. They've been here on the board for the longest time. When Bell West, Olson Drive was done, it was owned by Jim Olson and John Bickert. So Olson Drive, all the construction was done by them, and they put in the sidewalks. I want to know why the taxpayers are picking up 218 Olson Street. Did those guys not provide a warranty? These people have had complaints about their sidewalk since they moved in. Silvernail did nothing. And nobody addressed it until just recently. Right, Gary? Isn't the developer supposed to?
Well, the developer puts the sidewalks in, yes.
And aren't they the ones, if they don't put it in properly, that they have to come back and take care of it?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's what was in the developer's agreement. That's all.
I'm sorry, Connie.
What's on the list for?
Yeah, I've got two more, sorry. Josh,
First, I just wanted to ask, how did you pick which sidewalks had to be done? Whether,
I'm just gonna remind everybody that public hearings are not a question and answer,
Okay.
they're a statement section, and
okay,
so,
well, I'm just making a statement about my sidewalk personally. I think my sidewalk is 100% fine. It doesn't, I'm sorry, 216 Evarts. There's no pooling water ever when it rains hard, not that we ever really get any rain anymore, but, also when I'm using my snow blower to, remove the snow, it goes smooth right across there. It never like catches or anything like that. I walk these streets almost every day, delivering all your packages, but, I see a lot more sidewalks that need replacing way more than mine does. And I think mine is fine for another couple of years. And there's only one crack in one of the, I think we have 12 of the units. I mean, if we have to replace one of those, that would be one thing, but I think the other 11 are 100% fine. And then also, I'm not sure where the cost came in, but I've talked to multiple cement people over the last week. And they said they could do it for the same price as supposedly my half. So that's all I have.
stop. There we go. Okay. I hate this thing. We're gonna stop reading that. And I'm sorry, Anderson.
All right, good evening, folks. I live off of 127 Mitchell Street. I am Danielle Enerson, Enerson, and I am disputing the corner of Mitchell and Church Street, the 17 linear feet. And I am look forward to hearing your response and the reasoning for replacing the 17 linear feet. So that's all I have to say. So I don't know how long I'll be able to get a response back. The reason why. But the letter I got doesn't say why. I don't know how soon I'll be able to be let known. You have a way of responding to these people? Drew can talk a little bit about that once this public comment is over. All that, we can discuss this once public comment is over.
That's the last name I have on my list, right? Or for this. I'm.
Are there any other comments? Are there any other comments? Are there any other comments? See none, I now close the public hearing at 6:54. Yeah.
I can't remember that piece of property specifically off the top of my head, but I can look at it and give you a better answer later. I can tell you, generally speaking, the way we did it, given the time constraint we had, we surveyed the sidewalks and came up with a grading system to determine how badly they were damaged. It was a point system. I believe our highest points were 11 points. It was points determined by what you call elevated edges, two different measurements. I believe it was 1.5 inches and below level change, and then 1.5 inches above. Different point values for those. A point value for cracking, a point value for surface scarring, bits that have come out of the pavement, and then actual missing chunks as well. There's also point values added for root systems underneath that were bucking the sidewalk, and whether or not there was a ramp, an ADA accessible ramp going off the curb. Those were all the factors that went in, and we added them up, and we had in a certain allotment to dollar amount that we were looking to put towards our sidewalks. And we basically took the top numbers of those, the highest rated sidewalks that fit within that budget that we had. And that's what we did. So that's the general answer for how that went. And specifically, if you want a more specific justification, I can look something up. If you give me contact information, I can get it to you.
Okay, my next question on that one is that if it's elevated too high and your point system is, why can't you guys just go around and grind them down? So it's semi-level like you have done in the park, all the sidewalks there, you grind them all down so people don't trip. I mean, that'll save the taxpayers a heck of a lot of money as well as myself. Why can't you do that?
Saying,
That'd be a heck of a lot of money to save.
we can connect you guys via email, and I think that'd be a better way to approach that.
Forget it.